having a beautiful day, feeling grounded and connected and reaching out to loved ones today. We're going to work with our hips and opening things up a little bit more in our hip area. So starting on our back, keeping the knees bent and spreading the feet nice and wide, about the width of your mat, apart from each other, and gently releasing from side to side. Just warming into the hips and breathing. And you can start to let the head roll in the opposite direction of the knees. Stretch the arms out into a T. Maybe you've been sitting at your desk all day. Or maybe you've had a Netflix binge today and just want to get your body moving a little bit. So working into our hips is also going to help the low back. And then coming back to center, we'll draw the soles of the feet together and up, holding on with the hands around the ankles and just letting the knees drop towards the earth. You can also wrap your hands around your toes if you can reach them. And if you can't reach either, then just grab a belt or a strap and you can use that to harness your feet. So let yourself breathe all the way into your belly now. And you start feeling some opening and relaxing in through the groin area. See if you can feel your belly like you're filling a water balloon. And then exhaling with a nice deep sigh. And then again, inhaling like you're blowing up a balloon. And exhaling. Again, nice full breath. I love those audible exhales. Something about it that just makes me feel like the stress or tension is releasing right out of my body. Feel those shoulders starting to relax and release. And then gently taking the right foot out. So you're at a right angle with the right foot. The knee is coming down towards the earth. And the shin is perpendicular to the floor. Or working in that direction. The foot as if you're standing flat on the ceiling. And then slowly coming back to center and opening up with the left side. You'll feel the intensity growing on the inner thighs with the stretch. And then if it feels right for you today, you can take both knees out into our happy baby pose. So gently shifting, rocking from side to side. Feel a beautiful massage in the lower back. And then as you come back to center, we're going to slowly start to stretch the legs out. And you can always use your strap around the bottom of your feet for any of these postures. Slowly drawing the legs in and then pressing towards the chest. So once you get to that point that you feel a little bit of resistance and tension, we're going to hold it there and rotate at the ankles. And coming in the other direction. And slowly releasing Pressing the right knee in towards the chest, and the left knee can stay bent or you can extend it straight onto the ground. Reaching for the right foot with the left hand, we're going to turn our legs sideways. So the right hand supports the knee, the left hand supports the right ankle. Gently rocking from side to side. If this is too much for you to reach this far, you can always place the right ankle on the left thigh, like this. And then gently just rock for side to side with the support of the left leg. And then drawing big circles with the right knee, and you'll feel it warming and lubricating your right hip. And in the other direction. And then gently sliding that right leg over the left one. So easing to the left side as you stretch your arms out to the sides and your head rolls into the right side. See if you can fill your belly again in this twist. You'll be feeling it more in the side body, the waist and the top of the hip. And on your next exhalation, coming back to center and releasing the leg, drawing the left one up. So your right hand is grabbing onto the left foot and your left hand is supporting the left knee. Gently rocking from side to side. And then drawing big circles with the left knee. Other direction. And just always staying connected to our breath. And gently crossing the left leg over the right one. Stretching the arms out into a T. And we're going to release the legs over to the right side as the head rolls to the left. Slowly coming back to center and releasing both legs. So shifting over to your side and taking a moment here. And gently pressing yourself back to a seated posture. So I like to shift from side to side, getting a little bit more connected to my sitting bones, and then bringing the sole of the feet together. And you might want to have a nice wide open space here. It can be even a little bit further apart. And an option is to put a pillow underneath the knees if you need a little bit extra support. Sitting up nice and tall as you inhale, and exhaling, we're going to start leaning forward into our tortoise pose. Feel free to adjust if that's a little straining on the knees. And we can come down with the hands on top of the shins, or we can slide our hands under. Taking nice deep breaths up and down the spine. Feeling the body rising and falling. And then slowly walking your feet up. You can stay in that posture if you want to try something fun. We're going to come into, whoops, a blooming lotus. So shifting your weight back and lifting the legs up. So we're still keeping the integrity of the tortoise pose with our legs, and we're just raising it up. So your challenge is to try to lengthen up through the spine. You can always tuck a pillow behind you if you want a little bit of extra support. And then the feet come together and the toes splay apart like a blooming lotus. It's a beautiful way to just sit here and take a moment looking between the toes. And then you can take the hands into this hand mudra, the Gyan hand mudra, with the index finger and the thumbs coming together and the other fingers stretched out straight. And slowly releasing the legs down. And we'll take one foot in. And again, with your strap or with your hand around your foot, extending the left leg out straight. Again, sitting up nice and tall. And we can ease into the hip as we go in and out. Slowly releasing the left foot and switching onto the right. Right leg releases down. Feel free to leave the pillow there if you want a little extra support. Left leg is going to come to the inside of the right thigh. Inhale, lengthening up. And exhale, walking the hands down into a nice forward bend. And then extending and lifting the heart towards the toes. Slowly coming up, placing the left hand behind you for support. We're going to roll onto the left knee, drawing the right arm up, coming into Wild Thing. You can feel a beautiful stretch down into the hip flexors, the psoas. And then feel free to open that right arm, reaching back so you get a stretch in your pectoral muscle. Front of your shoulder and down into the chest. And slowly releasing, coming back down and propping up your left leg. So from here, just putting my tummy out of the way, right arm comes around the left leg, engaging the core, sitting up nice and tall. The left arm comes behind. Inhaling, lengthening through the spine, and exhaling, leading with the heart. We're going to twist towards the left. Breathing fully into the belly. And just gently letting your neck, your head turn to the left, and even your eyes, let them stretch and look to the left. And coming back to center, we're going to tuck the right foot under the left hip, and the right foot is going to come across. And this might be as far as your body wants to go. Your body might not even want to go this far. This is a little bit of a pretzel pose. So a couple of things that you can do. You can take your pillow and sit on it. You can take a folded blanket, a block. This really helps by elevating the hips. It starts opening things up. So easy pose, just sitting in a cross-legged position or one foot in front of the other. Whatever works for you. We are going to be going into a little bit of a deeper hip opener, so your hips are going to guide you through this. So listen to your body, and respect the limitations. So I'm taking you through different stages, but please don't feel that you have to come into this pose or you might stretch something too far. So we're working towards getting the left foot towards the right hip. That's just the direction we're going. Doesn't mean it has to land there. So from here, again, our handy strap, take it into your right hand, inhale up, and then bend that right elbow and let the strap just drop over the shoulder. The left hand is going to come under and behind, reaching up for that strap. And you might find what tends to happen is that you end up in this hunched over position because you're trying so hard to get deeper into the pose. So don't worry too much about how deep you get into the pose. We're just trying to guide that arm up, and you can even pull like a lever with the left hand. Don't worry how far the left arm comes up. Another option is you can take it from up top. So most important thing in this cow face pose is that you're sitting up nice and tall. You want your chin parallel to the floor. And you're not hunched over with your neck being compromised and cramped. So yours might look a little bit more like this. The elbow might not be all the way up. If your muscles are tight, that's okay. Focus on the spine and engaging that core so you can sit up nice and tall. And see if you can breathe in this pose. See if you can actually breathe. If you can't breathe, then ease out a little bit. Come a little bit back, release the arm a little bit. All of our poses, we really want to be able to engage in the breath in a nice flowing way. And if we're not, then we've probably gone too far and we need to just ease back a little bit. Okay, so releasing out of that. That was a deep one. Shaking out the arms. Shaking out the legs. And then we'll take that right foot to the inner thigh on the left leg. Sitting up nice and tall. You'll see there's a theme here. Lengthening up through the spine. Inhale. And as you exhale, just walk the hands down wherever's comfortable for you to reach. You want to go to that point where you're feeling the stretch. We're not bouncing up and down. We're just easing into the stretch. Pressing forward with the heart to lengthen the spine. And breathe. So it's never a concern how far you can go into any pose. No matter how far you can go, you're getting just as much benefit from that stretch as anybody else. So part of yoga is letting go of that competition, the judgment, and the pressure to perform. It's really about being in your body, being present and nourishing those muscles and the ligaments and really taking care of yourself. So from here, we're going to inhale up, releasing the right arm behind us and coming onto the right knee, stretching the left arm up and feeling that beautiful stretch into the left hip. You may be feeling a stretch in your deep core muscles through your hip flexors. So as the left arm opens up and stretches behind you, you'll get a nicer stretch in the front of your shoulder, your pectoral muscles. And then slowly releasing down, and we'll prop up the right knee. Sitting up nice and tall, wrapping the left arm around the right knee. Right hand comes behind to support you up nice and tall as you inhale. And exhale, leading with the heart, twisting towards the right side. And breathing deeply. Let the eyes continue to look towards the right, giving them a good stretch. And inhaling, coming back to center. Crossing that right foot over the left and tucking the left foot underneath the right hip. Grounding down through the sitting bones, sitting up tall. Remember, use your pillow, use your folded blanket or your block. Prop yourself up there nicely, and you'll find as you start to shift that this leg is gonna start relaxing down a little bit, but you'll feel it in that right hip. If it's tight, this is not going down. This is not going anywhere if your hips are tight. So hopefully we've warmed into them a little bit with the previous postures. And then we can come into this one, cow face pose. So the left hand grabs onto the strap, inhale up, bend the left elbow, and then the right arm reaches behind. And just notice, does one side feel a little bit shorter and tighter than the other? That might be very possible. Depending on which one is your dominant arm, you might be feeling a little bit more on one side over the other. And then the other option is to just support the left elbow with the right hand. Tall spine. Chin's level with the floor, and breathe. You might be swearing at me right now. Me putting you in this little pretzel pose. But remember, I always say you're your own yoga control board. So you determine what's right for your body. This posture might not be anywhere. There might not be anything right about this posture in your body. And that's okay. You can choose not to do any of these poses and just go into another one, or just take a rest. So, releasing that arm, releasing the legs, and stretching them out, and give them a good shake. Okay, so coming into one more posture like this, working into the glutes now. So your left ankle is going to come onto the bottom of your right thigh, and we're going to bend the right leg, propping it up. And you'll see here we've come into the pigeon pose. So we have many variations of the pigeon pose. This one is a seated one. This one you can do sitting on a chair, just like this. So your bottom would be on the seat, and then your foot would be on the ground, and you would pull the left leg up, and then you would lean forward. So if you're on the chair, you would actually lean forward. This one we're propped up, and then my body is pushing in with my hands supporting from the back. I'm pushing forward. So it might be more like this. A lot of people, especially if you sit a lot, work in an office, your glutes get super tight. So you might be more down like this, or you might be like this. So whatever variation is working for your body. Just soak up that beautiful stretch, flex the left foot, and breathe. And then we're going to switch to the other side, flexing the right foot, and then sitting up nice and tall. And slowly releasing down. Okay, so now that we have our nice little pillow handy for us, I love doing the frog with a pillow. So lowering your body down onto the earth. We're going to start in crocodile, just turning the knees out to the side and rest your head on the ground. So if and when you're ready, you can start walking your left foot up and bending the knee. You can work up to a right angle if your hip is open enough, or just lower it down a little bit and rest your head to the side. The pillow just helps to create a little bit more support in the hip so it's not as intense. But if you're finding this isn't challenging at all, you can go right down onto the mat. So when you're ready, switching to the right side. And then slowly walking the foot down, coming back to center, extending the legs out straight, and placing your forearms beside your upper arms and shoulders. Gently resting your head on the mat. And we're going to do some pelvic tilts. So engaging your lower belly and drawing it up towards your navel. Drawing your navel in towards your spine will create that nice pelvic tilt. So engaging the lower belly, trying not to engage the buttocks, the glutes, because they will just override and push that pelvis forward. So we're trying to condition and train the abdominal muscles to do the work. So tilt, release, tilt, release. So as you release, inhale. As you tilt and engage, exhale. Inhale, release. And exhale. So you can start feeling the length and the space in your lower back, your lumbar spine, as you do this exercise. So from here, next time you tilt your pelvis, we're going to start raising the body up. And when you get to the point that your abdominal strength can't raise you anymore, then you're going to push up through the arms into our Sphinx pose. Breathing as you hold all of the postures. And on your next exhalation, slowly releasing down. And then pressing back into our child pose. Nice wide child. Stretching the hips back to the heels as the arms extend forward. Shifting from side to side. And then walking the hands out to the left side. And walking the hands out to the right. And back to center. Slowly coming up one vertebrae at a time. Rolling those shoulders back. And just feeling that flow in your spine. And feeling the openness in your hips as you move around. Back. So here we're going to just pop in a little boat pose, because we always like to get in a little core. A couple of variations I'll walk you through, so you just hang out with whichever one is working for you today. Hands behind the thighs, sitting up nice and tall, and then slowly starting to lean back. So you can hold it here. Next option would be to bring one leg up at a time. And the next option is both legs coming up bent. And the next option is extending the legs straight. And you can add releasing the arms to any of these variations. So you go to where works for you. And you can always intermittently take a little rest with the hands behind the thighs and then come back into it. Breathing. And then slowly releasing the legs down. Keeping the knees bent, we're going to take our pillow behind our back and slowly start to lower down. So you want your tailbone and your sacrum to be on the ground, and then the pillow is underneath. So with the knees bent, you're going to just slightly draw them apart. And if this feels too intense, grab another pillow and you can put that sideways underneath the knees to give you some support, or if you have blocks or pillows or whatever to prop those knees up, feel free. So from here, we're going to go into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. So this is obviously a deeper hip opener. So put those supports where you need them. And then we're going to take the hands and just rest them on the lower belly, our second chakra, and breathing deeply into the belly. Feel it rising and falling as you begin to surrender into this pose. And remember to adjust, take your feet further away from you. If this is too intense, you want to be able to release and relax in this. So breathing deeply into the belly, into the hips. And allow yourself to start to surrender to the flow. Allowing, releasing, letting go, and just being in this moment. Taking a nice deep breath in when you're ready, bringing the knees back together. And let the feet come to the width of your mat again with your knees bent. And we'll gently rock the knees from side to side. And then bringing the knees back to center and into the chest. Squeezing the knees into the chest and releasing. Squeezing the knees and the head towards each other. And releasing. And one more. Just give yourself a nice hug around the shins. And releasing. Slowly rolling over onto your right side. And gently pressing back up. Now take a moment to close our eyes. Bringing the palms to heart center. Namaste.